What's going on, everybody? I'm back with another Prizepicks MLB player props video. This one going to be breaking it down, giving you guys the first 6-pick flex that I did lock in myself today that I did send over to the VIP, looking to get some more results, as you can see on the screen, with some nice sweep action early on in the MLB season. Swept opening day, got another sweep this week. Going to be talking about a lot of concepts and a lot of the same process that went into this ticket in this one. And once again, a full 6-pick flex for free, guys, on the channel today. Excited to talk some baseball. If you're someone that doesn't really know too much baseball, you're looking for, an expert to be following over on Prizepicks, I think you've come to a fantastic spot. And we'll be breaking it down for you today, guys. If you do like the content, it would be greatly appreciated if you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content that I upload. And if this helps you out, you're like, this guy knows what he's talking about, I want access to every single one of his picks, I do offer premium content. I am now offering sportsbooks picks as well as, prize picks, underdog fantasy, better picks, all that stuff over in the VIP. Price tag has not gone up. I've gone ahead and included my sports betting picks for free, essentially. Same price tag, dumping it in as well. And if you go to my YouTube community page, you're going to see a lot of the results. The content has slowed down a little bit as of lately because I've been really trying to dial in all of these other processes. Once again, not only just supplying the prize picks, but just go to my YouTube community page. You'll see Caesars, FanDuel, the prize picks. We had those 2 sweeps 2 days ago, like I said. On the NBA action, we swept as well. That same day was a massive night. We had the sweep on the NBA. We had the sweep on MLB that I just pulled up on the screen. And we had the sweep on better picks. So these are my tickets, but obviously helping out the community as well. Going to give them some quick shout outs, and then I promise we will get into the breakdown. I just got to show some appreciation to them over there, obviously paying customers, and also just always showing love, showing support to the brand. So I really do appreciate it. And all cashing in with me on that same ticket. Vince 28 right here, that same 6-pick flex, turning $7.40 into $185. The NBA action, once again, 6 into 150 for Vince. No limit J Wash with that same Prizepicks MLB ticket, 20 into 500. So obviously he's paying off way more than what he paid for a subscription. That's always the goal. Kenshiro Power guy that's coming to the Discord, learned a lot. He's always giving me a shout out. Shout out to you, man. 5 into the 125. 5 into 125. This one had a nice double up. I mean, we're going to have that a lot, right? Those 5 out of 6 tickets, unfortunately, it's not going to go 6 for 6 every time. But, I mean, another sweep once again over on better 1 into 20, starting with those better picks slips as well. We had a nice win here from Cash Out with that 20 into 120 using some demons. Ed the Fred always tailing 50 into 1250, 55 into 1375. So shout out to every single one of you guys. Then obviously my own tickets. These are all sent in as soon as I place them, guys. And that better picks ticket, man, absolutely loving better picks as well. 102,000. Now that they've increased that limit from 50 into 100, they do limit me to 5-6 picks per night. But man, I love that app. So shout out to Better. If you don't have their app, go ahead and get that and use the promo code KJKDFS along with the Prizepicks app. And let's get into it, man. We'll discuss exactly why I like these plays. We'll go game by game as we always do. And the first game that I'd like to discuss today is going to be this Pittsburgh Pirates Philadelphia Phillies game. This game comes with a 9 over under, 4.99 implied total for the Philadelphia Phillies. And it makes a lot of sense to me because they get to take on a guy in Bailey Falter, who is hashtag not good. It's in Philadelphia. We look at this ballpark from a hitting environment aspect, guys. Absolute great hitting environment overall, and especially for the home runs. We have some really good hitting weather tonight. It's 18-mile-an-hour winds blowing out straight to right center, which should really help those pull lefties in this Philadelphia Phillies lineup. And Bailey Falter, a guy that's really bad across the board, man. He doesn't have much going on for him. He's got a 4.84 Sierra. That's terrible. But most notably, versus left-handed hitting. He's actually a reverse splits guy. So what that means, if you're new to baseball, typically speaking, a right-handed pitcher facing a right-handed batter, you're going to have a bit more of an advantage than a lefty taking on a righty. When the ball's coming in from the opposite side, it's just easier to see. A lot of times, hitters will have more success facing the opposite-handedness pitcher. So if you're a righty, it's going to be easier to face a lefty. If you're a lefty, it's going to be easier to face a righty. When a guy has reverse splits, You know, he's going against the typical rule of law here, right? So he's a lefty that struggles more so versus left-handed bats. Giving up a 461 WOBA. He's been terrible, and we're going to break down these numbers for this Philadelphia squad, man. They have two fantastic lefties at the top of this lineup in Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper. Schwarber's going to lead off in the leadoff spot with a 347 WOBA, 376 WOBA for Harper, 224 ISO, 231 ISO. And once again, Falter is terrible versus lefties, man. It's only a 10 at-bat sample size this season, but it's gone back to last season. He's got a 0% K rate, a 10% walk rate, 444 ISO, 406 WOBA. He's only got an 11.1% ground ball rate. So the guy sucks versus left-handed bats is the issue. So there's a lot of things going against him, man. We talked about that Philadelphia Phillies ballpark, two lefties that tend to pull the ball, 18-mile-an-hour winds blowing out. You got to absolutely love this spot. For at the top, Kyle Schwarber. In the 3 spot, Bryce Harper. And we pull up the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer, sponsor of the program, guys. Their #1 MLB prop on the entire board is the Bryce Harper over hitter fantasy score. So there's so many data points pointing to this. This is a tool, guys, that's going to bring in that sportsbook data, that millions and millions of dollars of data, and give us a projected total. So you can see, factoring all the things that go into the Prizepicks fantasy scoring format on Bryce Harper, DraftKings Sportsbook, BetMGM have him coming in at 8.7 and 8.6 for a hitter fantasy score on the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. So another tool that I use, would highly recommend you check them out. Very valuable data, right? Dumped into an optimizer. You see that nice green. This has got a 54.57% chance of hitting the over, they're saying. Use that promo code KJKDFS. Get this tool, get 25% off over on the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. I'll have that linked below. Tons of good things pointing to these plays. And then Kyle Schwarber is another guy they do like as well. So all that data we just discussed, right? Same thing, DraftKings Sportsbook, BetMGM, 8.4, 8.4. They like these props quite a bit. I like these props quite a bit. We got a lot of data pointing to the over here today, for sure, on these two guys. And with the slip we're going to build out, we're going to get some nice positive correlation, guys. So what that means is, right, if the Philadelphia Phillies go out there and score a lot of runs tonight, which they're anticipated to do so, they're going to get more at-bats. The lineup's going to turn over, right? Instead of getting the typical, like, 3 at-bats, if they're just striking out, getting out, we could see them get 5, 6, 7 at-bats if they're going out there and putting up 5, 6, 7, 8 runs, right? So love to start off our 6-pick flex today with those two guys. Then we'll kick it on down to the next game I'd like to discuss. It's going to be the Atlanta Braves taking on the Miami Marlins. This game has an 8.5 over/under. Max Fried comes in as a massive favorite in this one, and he gets to go into a fantastic pitcher's ballpark, Miami. Big ballpark upgrade for him in Miami. It's one of the best pitching environments in baseball. We'll go ahead and pull up here for you guys the Marlins Park metrics. You can see 407 a straightaway center. Red across the outfield. It's just a terrible hitting environment, much more friendly to pitchers. Not a lot of room for balls to land out there. The home run ball, nice deep wall. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is this Miami Marlins lineup sucks versus left-handed pitching. They are dreadful. Max Fried is a guy that's gotten off to a really rocky start early season, but traditionally, I mean, this guy's the real deal, guys. I would not let this rocky start dictate you off from this spot, specifically the spot, as I said, we're going to discuss here. But Max Fried, a guy that's really good across the board, man. 3.47 Sierra, 3.48 ERA. He's got 25% K rate. He's only a 6% walk rate, 11% swinging strike rate, and the ground ball, fly ball stuff is fantastic. 24% hard contact rate and a 58% ground ball rate. So he's had a couple tough spots, but a couple of tough starts, but the spots have also been not too friendly, man. The two lineups he's taken on here in the early season, much better than the lineup he's going to be seeing here tonight. Arizona and Philadelphia are no jokes. We just talked about that Philadelphia lineup. Miami's a much different story, so I just want to get that out of the way. If you pull up Max Fried's Prizepicks, because we're going to be talking about his pitcher fantasy score, you can see it's really red. Don't let that trick you, man. This guy's the real deal. He's gotten off to a rocky start, but this is the type of spot he's going to bounce back in a major way here today, in my opinion. And we'll talk about exactly why. I said it, Miami is so bad versus left-handed pitching, man. It's pretty laughable for a major league lineup to be looking this bad against a certain type of handedness of pitching. The strikeout rates are through the roof, 23, 25, 27, and 36% down the board. This is current and last season's numbers. If we look at just this season's numbers, you can see, man, like they suck. The ISOs, the WOBAs, is all red. I mean, the two best guys have been Jazz Chisholm and Avisail Garcia, and they're still striking out a ton. They've just displayed a little bit of power. And we're not too worried about that with Max Fried's ground ball stuff like we discussed. And then, of course, that ballpark that we discussed in Miami. So, lastly, he's a massive favorite. Minus 190 favorite. He's going to be expected to pick up the win here. You do get that win bonus in the Prizepicks fantasy scoring format, which is going to be huge for us when we're targeting pitcher fantasy score. We break down the scoring chart here for the pitchers. 6 points for the wins, 4 points for the quality start, -3 for those earned runs, 3 points for the strikeouts, and 1 point for the outs. So, a quality start is if a pitcher goes 6 or more innings and does not allow 3 or more runs. So that's going to give him a nice 4-point bonus. And then the win is if he goes 5 or more innings, exits the game with his team leading. His team doesn't give up a lead the rest of the game, and they win the game. That's going to give him that 6-point bonus. So that's why I talk about that Atlanta offense could help us out in a big way for sure with those 2 bonuses, getting us a nice extra 10 fantasy points if he's able to get the quality start and the win. Which, of course, I do think he does get today if I'm promoting the over. So I like him a lot here for pick number 3. And then we'll kick it on down to the rest of this ticket, man. We'll make things speed up a little bit here. Cincinnati Reds, another fantastic spot. Chris Flexen sucks. They're on the road, so they're going to get the guaranteed top of the 9th inning at bats. It's 18-mile-an-hour winds blowing straight out in Chicago. They call this place the Windy City for a reason. We can pull up the diagram here for the White Sox in guaranteed rate field, and once again, it's pretty friendly hitting environment. It's a little bit neutral, but when you see those yellows instead of those reds, a lot better than what we just discussed with Miami, right? And then the wind's going to kind of cancel a lot of that out. Ellie De La Cruz, fantastic spot, man. Once again, I cannot emphasize enough that Chris Flexen stinks. The wind's blowing out, and we'll break down exactly why. This is going to be a good spot, right? So, Chris Flexen, his numbers across the board have been terrible, but most notably versus left-handed hitting on the early season. He's only striking them out at a 5% clip. He's given up a 235 ISO. That's the power metric, so a lot of hard contact. 324 WOBA, only a 37.5% ground ball rate. Ellie, man, been crushing. And not only can Ellie smash the ball with that 393 ISO, 456 WOBA, but he's also got a ton of stolen base upside. So for those of you that aren't familiar with the Prizepicks fantasy scoring format, 2024 season, Ellie is second in the entire majors with 6 stolen bases. That is a big deal for the hitter fantasy score on Prizepicks, guys, because every stolen base, you get 5 fantasy points. All he's got to do is get on base, a nice little single, 5 points, stolen base. He's already got 8 fantasy points. If he picks up a couple of stolen bases, he can literally clear his fantasy score without even getting any, home run, double, all that stuff. So, a couple walks, couple stolen bases, he could go over here. So there's a ton of different things to like here for Ellie. They've got him set at 8.5 on Prizepicks. He's gone over in each of the last 5, and I don't think that's going to slow down here today. I really don't care about the last 5 charts. I just pull them up for a visual on the videos. But it is kind of a nice little screen capture of just how hot the guy's been, right? So he's clearly feeling himself. The stolen base upside, like I said, is massive for Ellie. So that's going to be our first 4. And then our last 2 is going to come in the same game, the same lineup. Some positive correlation here. Once again, like we discussed with the Philadelphia Phillies, it's going to be the Houston Astros. They get to take on Dane Dunning, who has terrible splits versus left-handed hitting, which is going to be a big problem for him. Taking on Jordan Alvarez, Kyle Tucker. Not only does he have some splits issues, though, he also has some walk issues. So there's a couple things I like here. Number 1, Jordan Alvarez is one of the most intimidating guys when he steps in the box in the MLB. Guy's nasty. Walks at an 8.6% clip. However, I think there's going to be some spots where they want to pitch around him here, knowing Dane Dunning's splits issues versus lefties. You can see, man, the guy's terrible. He's only got a 16% K rate. He's also all the way up to a 16.7% walk rate, giving up a 429 ISO and a 388 WOBA. So Kyle Tucker and Yordan Alvarez, when we look at the current and last season's numbers, absolutely rake, man. 318 ISO for Alvarez, 209 ISO for Tucker, 433 WOBA, 360. They don't strike out and they walk a ton. Yordan's a guy that walked 13.6% of the time last year. Once again, 16.7% walk rate for Dunning versus lefties. He's struggling to throw strikes as is, and then you factor in he's probably going to want to pitch around Yordan. We could even see Yordan potentially get intentionally walked. So these are all things, obviously, you can probably see where I'm going with this. We're going to take his walk prop. And then Kyle Tucker, we talked about these terrible numbers against lefties for Dane Dunning. They do have his hits, runs, and RBI prop available on Prizepicks. So we can take the walk on Yordan and the over hits, runs, and RBIs on Tucker without a payout shift. So a lot of these, plays that I'm talking about in this one today, we're going to be putting into a 6-pick flex with some positive correlation, and they're not shifting our payout on the 6-pick flex. So that's really important for us as well. So we will round things off with Yordan's walk. So we'll take his over here on his over walks, boom, and Kyle Tucker's hits, runs, and RBIs. We'll take the over on him. So it just so happens we're taking all overs on this slip today. I did already lock this in myself. We can go ahead and refresh my entries here. And if they let me lock it in again, I always say on this channel, you will not see me promote a play that I don't really like, right? So they've been letting me win up to $5,000 per athlete now. I can only put $40 per 6-pick, but I can put it in multiple times, I discovered. So I will do that right now with you guys. Again, I've already put it in once. But I love these plays, man. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Once again, we can just pull up my entry just to prove to you, this was my first entry of the day. I absolutely love the plays. I'm going to have a ton more plays over in the premium. But this is our 6 we're rolling with, and I'm going to go ahead and lock it in a second time if they let me here. So let's see. It's Schwarber, Harper, Fried, Ellie, Yordan, Tucker. Absolutely love it. I'll put in another 40 here. And let's ride, man. Absolutely love these props today. Gave you guys the full breakdown. And, yeah, just to show you, obviously I support my plays. I always back my plays with my own money. Love the full 6-pick flex. So Kyle Schwarber over hitter fantasy score 7.5. Bryce Harper over 7.5. Max Fried over 34.5 pitcher fantasy score. Ellie De La Cruz over 8.5 hitter fantasy score. Yordan Alvarez over 0.5 walks, and Kyle Tucker over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. So there's a nice full detailed breakdown for you. That's everything that goes into my process. Hopefully you enjoyed the content. If you did, would be greatly appreciated if you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content that I upload. Once again, everything we just went over, guys, is going to every single one of my plays. I would highly encourage you to check out the VIP if you haven't already. It's going to pay for itself is obviously the goal. It's a monthly subscription. You can cancel at any time. I do it monthly as kind of an accountability check, right? If you have a monthly package and people aren't resubscribing, you're clearly not providing that value. If you're doing it on a month-to-month basis and people are coming back, it's obviously a key indicator that, I'm helping people out. There's no lifetime package where people are just trying to get your money and then run. It's a monthly package. I'm in there every day helping people. As you saw earlier in the video with all of the shout outs of the winners in the winner circle. So thanks for tuning in. Wishing you all the best of luck on your Prizepicks MLB player props tonight. And we will see you in the next one.